Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Faith Over Comfort podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in today on whether it's your Monday commute or whatever it is, or whenever it is that you're actually listening to us. We do appreciate you sitting down or listening as you're cleaning your house or whatever it is you're doing. Before we get into the episode, we would just like to remind you to stop by faithovercomfort.com. You can stop by our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter, X, because nobody calls it X, but it is Twitter. And then we have a fourth one, YouTube. Yeah, you're probably watching on YouTube as well, which is surprising because we actually have a decent amount of people that pay attention on YouTube. But if you are, please like, subscribe, hit that notification. Also, leave a comment if there's anything. We like to hear you guys' feedback. We do appreciate you guys for taking the time to choose your faith over your comfort. We love you. And now let's get into the episode. Skleet goes to black. Do you want to lead this?
Another one.
Sure.
I think I'm going to keep all that.
Another one.
I think I'm going to keep all that. Okay, go for it. Take us away.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Faith Over Comfort podcast. We have a very, very, very special episode for you today. We have Mike, also known as Uncle Mike, and Elise Riddle.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Welcome, you guys.
I'm so
Thank
interested
you.
to see how Mike's going to do now because we have been having a great conversation up until right now.
And then
but
he just
now,
shuts down. Yeah.
I'm a good listener. See, I'm shifting to listen mode.
Good job.
Well, this isn't the platform.
Oh, yeah.
to do that.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
I
supposed
mean,
to talk.
I'll speak when spoken to, but yeah, no.
Thank you.
I'm here for
Thank
the
you
convo.
for
I'm
having
here
us.
for a good. What did they say?
I'm here for a good time,
but
not a long time.
because we got to get our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Oh
kids
man,
for
do
school.
we?
All the kids.
We got a lot of kids to
All the
get
kids.
in different places.
So we
Different
actually,
area codes.
this is going to be an interesting conversation, I think, for a variety of reasons, because we are going to have some very serious and not serious conversations. I
Yeah.
feel like Elise is like the funner side and Mike is like the more serious side.
Yeah.
But then in his serious tone, he'll say something that's hilarious.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
catch y'all slipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful in these Uncle Mike streets. I'm always looking for opportunity to advise you on life.
And you know what? And that's such a perfect that's such a perfect way that I could describe you, because I feel like one of the first times, I think we were hanging out at the Lane's house. And I remember we were all sitting around outside. I think we were watching a Dodger game or something. We were it was like all the guys at the table. I don't know where the girls were, but we were just all the guys that was chopping it up or whatever. And it was like, we would talk about something funny or whatever, but every single time you'd open your mouth, it was like this serious tone, but it was always either
But it
like
wasn't
advice.
serious?
Because I think, I don't know if you were talking to me about like marriage or what it was.
Probably.
We didn't know each other that well though.
But he just was giving
But
you
he was
advice.
like, listen, bro, I kind of feel like your marriage needs a little bit of what I got to say.
The Lord gave me a word. I'll rarely be that guy. I'm hesitant with that one, man. You better be for sure where it's.
Oh, yeah.
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 But I do feel like you love marriage, so I do. Feel
Oh, I'm a
like-
fan.
Yeah,
I'm
so
a big fan of marriage.
I
I
feel
think
like you always
it's.
talk to people about marriage.
Yeah. It's. Yeah.
But why though? Like I mean, okay, so just
Yeah.
did you? I mean, just right out the gate, did you go to school for it? Like, why do you love it so much?
You know, it's interesting. I think, man, no one's ever really asked me that question like that. I think what it is just I value the foundation of marriage, and I think it's a good reference point. So, you know, for both myself and those involved, so kids and your spouse, I think when you look at marriage, it's a living organism, right? And so two people come together, in theory, to make the world a better place, right? But yeah, I don't know. Now I'm like, man, I better be careful. This is recorded. See, I went from telling you advice on a porch where no one's gonna listen And right now, I know there's someone like, wait a second, this advice is off here. But I guess just my opinion is I just love it. I love the thought of coming together with someone, investing all your time and your energy in a place and seeing it come to life. So it's the same thing with money, but with life. So when you invest your time into a given area, what comes of it? And so when you invest your time in another person, what comes of it? It's
Yeah.
right. So we're
So
seeing
that's
it
interesting
unfold.
you say that it's very similar to money because I'm trying to be smarter with my money, and I've started reading some books about money, and this one book that I landed on is talking about how everyone's experience with money is different. And he starts explaining how if you were born at this time, then you were really invested in the stock market. If you were born at this time, you might be more invested in bonds, or and how it depends on the person. And so for you to equate marriage and money, did you have a good example of marriage growing up, or is this something that you like? How did you?
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
Like, did you fall in love with marriage while being married, or did you always have this idea that you wanted to be married?
There we
And
go. Okay, you guys have done this before because now you're digging.
Done this
Now you're
before.
digging. I'm about to
Amazing.
test the depth of this couch. I'm gonna get comfy. Yeah, when you phrase it like that, so my parents are divorced now, but they were married when my sister and I were young. And things were great when I was younger. They started having their marital issues when I was in high school. So I saw both sides. And I think, if anything, there's never, I'm hesitant to say there's a silver lining to their divorce, but if I'm being conversational, the silver lining
Yeah.
to their divorce is I saw what happens when a marriage goes south and how people get to a place where there's no resolution. And despite all these major attachments, they're still willing to, kind of go through this separation, right? And it
Yeah.
has a ripple effect through people's lives and just the household. Literally, what are we going to do with the house and all these other things? So I think, if anything, their divorce cemented what was birthed in me at youth. I like the idea of a family unit. So siblings, if you're able to have them, and parents, you come home and food's warm and mom has her role and dad has his role, and there's ups and downs, but there's beauty through all of that when you see the unity and a lasting thing. So my goal was to avoid the pitfalls best I could for the areas my parents struggled, and then just celebrate the good in life and just make a long lasting marriage best you can. Now we're 15 years into
yeah.
this. 17 years together. So definitely some learning points, but I love it. Like, I'm excited about it. No different than people go to the gym. I'm like, what can I do for my house today? My wife, and everything affects the marriage. So even if I'm doing, some mundane chore or a honey-do list, it's, alleviating possibly an area of concern for her. I'm just invested. Like, every day I'm thinking about what can I do for her, for the
Yeah.
household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I love
Elise, what was your experience?
She's all, well,
you're-
he tricked me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the recipient of all of what he's describing.
Yeah.
And so you guys have 4 amazing boys.
Yeah.
Which
And
I want to talk more about that in a minute.
oh yeah, we will. So what was your experience with marriage?
So my parents are still married.
Okay.
They've been married for 41 years.
Whoa.
And so I think I've obviously have seen the ups and downs of their marriage. One thing that they taught me was just when there was maybe some low moments, that they made a covenant,
Hmm.
and that's something like you just don't break.
Mm.
So they were honest with us with the really hard moments, but they would just tell us like marriage is really hard, but this is a covenant, and this is like not any. This is we don't have that option to divorce.
Yeah.
They just didn't really bring that up. And so I just grew up knowing that marriage is really, really hard.
Yeah,
But once you do it, that's it.
Did you guys grow up like believing in?
Yeah. So my parents, I grew up with my parents doing ministry.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they were believers, first generation believers, and they both came from a hard past. They both had a hard past, but with like trauma, but they were just always honest with us, and just here's the hard part of life. My dad was grew up in the
Semi-honest, because I still want to know some of your dad's.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
They
know
do
he's got
keep.
some stories tucked
Yeah,
away over
yeah.
there.
He talked about the other day getting like stabbed in the back. Everyone's like, "What?"
I
Yeah.
know.
No
Do
way.
Yeah,
tell.
yeah. Like,
Tell
do
me about
tell.
this
Yeah.
stabbing.
So they would tell us, yeah, not too much about their past, but just like of the things that were going on in our household. So yeah, I knew I wanted to be married, and I think you were asking about just how I get to receive the Michael's gifts, and
Okay.
yeah, Mike does he does a really good job of he actually does that every day, like calls and checks in. Okay, what do you need? What does your work schedule look like? What? Okay, we were on the phone yesterday. Okay, so if I pick up the kids, how will what will benefit you? Um, and so I think Mike just does a really good job, and he anytime we go to dinner with people or we're talking to people, single people, he is just like the number one hype man for marriage. And so I always say, like, you should talk to Uncle Mike, because he
Yeah.
like, if you're having a hard time in your marriage, I feel like he does a good job of like cheerleading you. Like, he's like a cheerleader for marriage, and
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
he has that gift of like encouragement too for marriage. And I guess I'm grateful too that he actually lives out at home what he says out in public. Yeah.
Okay, so with you guys, I do a lot with my hands. I realize.
That's
I'm
cool,
like,
though. I
Hold on,
thought
I
you were
wanna
throwing up
ask-
a sign. I thought you guys had
hey,
a sign for the show, so I was just going to go with it. Like, yeah, that's what's up.
I'm very
but
animated.
Before we move
hands are so
forward, I
warm.
want to ask you. I know it's this tea.
Okay.
So you said your parents were really honest. Did you like that as a kid, or was that something you noticed as an adult? How honest they were?
I don't know if I liked it as a kid, and I
Uh-huh.
still like don't like it that much, because I'm like, I'm still your kid, and I have to, and we're navigating a lot right now. Right now with my dad and health stuff, and so they're still pretty honest, and
Yeah.
I've had to take on a lot. So I don't know if I liked it as a kid.
Yeah.
Do you look
but-
back now and like, oh, this kind of helped shape?
Yeah, I think I just knew. I think I just always had the idea, like, life is like 99% work and 1% fun.
Mm.
I think that's what I grew like. Life is not like, it's just hard work. Like,
Mhm.
and that's what, with them being honest, like, this is the budget, this is out of budget, this is marriage, like, so I think I grew up just knowing that, hey, life isn't always going to be fun. It's hard work. And
Yeah.
so maybe now I we take the good things and the bad things from our parents, and I think that's such a blessing that we get to like pick and choose. And
Yeah.
so I take a little bit of like, hey, this is hard work, but I also, they're still kids, and so I don't think they have
Yeah.
to know everything. And like, life is still full of joy. There's joy to be had in life, and so
Yeah.
I don't know if I am as honest with my kids as maybe my parents were.
Yeah.
Mm,
I
Yeah.
asked that because I feel like we try to be like, as we try to be really honest with our kids, but also we have that same conversation where we're like,
Yeah.
they're just kids too.
Yeah.
Like, so you got to find the balance of
Yeah.
having hard conversations and being honest with them about things, but also like, there's just certain things they don't need to know because
Yeah.
they're kids. Let them be kids. Because going back
Mhm.
to life being hard work,
Yeah.
I always think they have their whole life to take on
Oh, yeah.
all of these. Like, let them just be kids right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think it just depends. We have such a big age gap. We have a like 12-year-old and a 2-year-old, or so I think, obviously it just depends too. We're I would say
we talk about that a lot. Like, you'll legit be having a conversation
Yeah.
with our 2-year-old Joaquin about Paw Patrol.
yeah.
3 minutes later,
It's like
we're
sex
talking to
with
Jonah.
yeah, about like sex. Yeah.
Legit-
Like
see, your
different
brain
things.
has to
yeah.
be able to pivot and
So,
but
yeah.
be meaningful in both, because Joaquin's genuinely concerned about the Christmas Paw Patrol special and can he watch it. Equally, Jonah heard some stuff maybe at school that he's trying to sort through and
Yeah.
figure out. So you've got to be able to pivot quick,
Yeah.
but be intentional with both. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, you have to. Would you say that you have to be prepared for that? Because you said being intentional. Like,
alert. You got to be aware at all times. So maybe maybe all parents do this, but I'm always Not listening so much as when I joke about giving a lot of advice, when and how. Just being prepared. If their conversation they're having amongst themselves shifts to me and they look to me for advice, I'm always kind of listening or even just watching what's going on in their life as well, right? I'm watching and listening to see if I'm approached with any questions or concerns, to see, to make sure that I'm ready for those,
Yeah.
And again, it could be serious, it could be joking. One day we were going to school and I had all three of the older boys, we call them, we kind of break them down by the bigs could be the big three, it could be the big two, but bigs means everybody but Joaquin, our 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And then the littles can be the other three, right? That could be Judah, our 9-year-old down. So for those listening or watching, we have a 2, a 7, a 9, and 11-year-old. So there's an age gap. But at any rate, I got sidetracked there, but you got to be prepared for those conversations best you can because, again, it could be trivial or something that means a lot to them. And so I'm real, but, I was telling that story. We were on the way to school one day and we had the birds and the bees talk and I gave Jack the full discussion to the extent that was appropriate, but it was borderline. So it's like, how do I stretch this 11 to 7 gap? Because Jack, these guys in second grade, what they're talking about, it's not what the 6th graders are talking about.
Yeah.
But I want them to be aware, of what's going on. I don't want them to feel like they're being lied to. Like, there's one thing to be age appropriate, but there's another thing to just hide things from people because it's difficult. Face the difficulty and talk to your kids about it, but fill out what version you need to give them.
Yeah.
And I think of like that scripture that says like all scripture is beneficial. And I think of like, when we read scripture, it's like everything, everything in there is beneficial, whether it's like about like someone getting stabbed, like in the stomach, and like somehow if God says all scripture is beneficial, then the sex talk, the financial talk, everything that's in the Bible is beneficial. And so I think that always, think of that scripture when we're talking to the boys, because like Mike was saying, it's like we don't want to hide anything either. It could be age appropriate, but not hide.
Well, it's funny because Jonah's starting to realize, I think he's putting 2 and 2 together. He's like, wait a second. So our relationship is starting to shift. Jonah, because you see your mom in a certain light, and then he's starting to connect the dots, what mom and dad, do in their private time. And it's interesting because I see him as a young man shifting, where I'm not like an adversary, but he's like, he doesn't like that aspect of the mom and dad relationship because he understands it. And we've talked about it. Hey, this is why mom and dad do what we do to go kids. I don't talk about frequency or how often or whatnot. Or so I think in his mind right now, maybe it's just to have babies. It's not, the connection piece and all the other things that come with that. But I'm highlighting for him, we are at an early age, just the importance of it. We're not getting descriptive. We're not going in depth. He just needs to understand it's very important, but you don't need to shy away from it. And so we're walking through that. And he's our firstborn, so it's the first time.
It's a trial.
Yeah. Now, did he come home talking about certain things? That's why you started having this conversation? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I've always wondered, like, do you have this conversation with your kids before they hear something, or do you wait for the door to open to then have that? You know what I mean? Like, how?
Before, I think Mike was prepared before.
I'm just going to get it out there. Like, I'm just real, right? Real with respect for where people are at in their lives and real with respect for, like, where our kids are at age-wise.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, real is real. So people have sex. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I legit just had this conversation with Jonah where I said the world will try to make it seem taboo or like different. They'll either like downplay it if you're talking about biblical sex, but worldly sex they promote. So it's weird. They make the one that's good and healthy and wholesome from the Lord seem like it's a challenge, like it's cumbersome, like it's daunting, like it's a task, right? Marriage and sex here as the Lord defines and orchestrates it. But then the worldly stuff is promoted everywhere. So it's weird. The world will squash the one and they'll promote the other. So to help navigate that or erase some possible confusion, we just talk about it straightforward. It's a good thing. So I tell them, like, you're gonna see, and I kind of say it in the Uncle Mike way, but I'm like, you see something and it looks good, man, you're gonna be thinking them thoughts. I'm like, hey, contain them, control them, but then reference it to the Bible. What does the Bible say? And I'm like, Jonah, just be honest with God. You can't hide. Like,
Yeah.
God, I'm feeling this way about this girl. Or I'm having these thoughts, these feelings. I said, you have our creator, our savior in your corner. You can talk to him, be real with him. So between us being open, yeah, we're
Yeah.
kind of,
So Mike like had already talked to him
yeah.
before he even came to us with any questions. I think Mike got ahead of it, just
Yeah.
knowing
I
that it was
mean,
about to be.
I
Yeah,
was in
it
sixth
was-
grade. You were in sixth grade.
Yeah.
Well,
So
because
that's about the age you had that conversation.
No, I would say fifth grade, right?
Before, yeah, as far as like official conversations, I was aware of it. I think somewhere in 8 to 9 to 10, you start to realize. I
Yeah.
think when I was in first grade, second grade, you'd make jokes about it. Ew, I remember my parents, no joke. I was at my aunt's house and something commercial came up. Somewhere I heard the word sex. Long story short, I get home and it morphs into this story like, my aunt, was talking about sex. My dad's like, where'd you hear about that? And I just remember I was 6 or 7 and I thought it was like a funny thing. Like, you and mom are going to have sex. I'll never forget saying that to him. He's like, what?
Really?
Where'd this come from? And I was just saying it because like the conversation from my aunt's house and like a TV commercial
You
for
probably
like,
sent
Yeah.
your dad into a spiral.
Yeah.
In that
I did. And he was like, where'd you hear? And like investigative. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I just heard the term. I thought it
Yeah.
was funny. I don't know.
Yeah. You didn't know.
But
So I mean, okay, so because this is interesting, especially lining up with a couple of conversations we've had with some other people. Did you see your kids starting to act a certain way, say certain things like you were describing, and then
Yeah.
that's when you're like, okay, maybe I should mention something. How
Yeah.
like what did you
Yeah.
guys do? Because I know, I mean, I'm sure maybe Elise, you had some say in this, like, hey, your son just said,
Yeah, because we have boys, it's just I defer those conversations to Mike.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if we had girls, maybe I would, obviously like take that on, but I'm still open with the boys. Joda has like brought up a couple of things to me. I'm like, oh, okay, and I'll tell him what I can.
Yeah.
But when it gets into like the nitty gritty of like how he's feeling,
oh,
what do
yeah,
different body parts do, then that's like a hey, your dad would love to answer that question.
yeah.
And Mike does, and Mike doesn't make it weird or anything. And we noticed Jonah had talked about stuff, and we've always told him, ask us any question, and we'll give you the answer. And
Yeah.
so he has, and so I think that happened the last couple of years. He was starting to ask us a couple of questions, and so me and Mike talked, and we ordered some different books too. And
for some
so
help.
just to like how we're gonna go about this. And then Mike just told me like, hey, I had the conversation. It was like he was already looking for the perfect time. It came up, and he let me know.
I'm tackling it like a Lego set. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay. So piece by piece.
yeah, and this isn't like Diplos, right? For the little kids, like there's like 8 pieces. This thing's got. I mean, I got a Lego set. There's 13 kits in there. Okay.
Yeah.
This talk is we're gonna be having it, for a while.
As it, yeah.
Foreseeable future. Even through marriage, right?
Sure.
Like, hey, we're having a kid. Just all the things that come from it. So yeah, we have fun with it. But I remember where I'm at in stages with all of them, and then I just try to pick back up where we were last. So again, I'm most advanced with Jonah, so I can just go straight into it. Remember we were talking
Right.
about this, and then I'll add a layer to it. So then when he's looking back, like, wow, I got a catalog of information and feedback from my dad. Some of it gross, don't want to hear it from my dad, but
Yeah.
he if I know one thing about my dad, he's gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
And I'm, this is what you're gonna think most likely. This is what you're gonna feel most likely. Here's how girls around your age think and feel from my experience. Now, generations have changed because enter in technology, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
We were back on I'm that old, the rotary, the phone.
Phones.
You're waiting for the thing to come back. And
Yeah.
I remember when, what was it? Star 69, is 69 callback?
Oh, 67.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it
67?
Star 67?
Star 60, no.
Okay, Mike.
Either way, you're going to. Anyways, no, 99. I remember you put like.
No, you're
Star-
right.
Yeah,
You're
it was
right. You're right.
67,
You're
wasn't
right.
it?
Was it Star 67?
It was one of them, guys.
Is that where
Let's
that thing
move on
came
from
from?
that one.
The words that we won't mention on here. Wow, both numbers 67, 69.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So at any rate, I'm that all right. The phones and whatnot. So, but still, there's certain things that don't change in the world. over time they appear different. So men and women have been the same since the beginning of time. So whether you have technology or not, girls are going to think a certain thing, boys are. So I'm explaining the world from a male perspective, but very open. I remember being in high school and like staring at girls, not thinking twice about like, walking myself through the process, but just something about me wanted to like talk to them or be with them. You're attracted, right?
Yeah, right.
So did it distract you from school? I want them to like have enough freedom biblically to be free biblically, so things don't get hidden and it causes other areas of their life to get affected. So meaning like we never talk about this major thing in life, this area of life. So I'm just bottling up, but it's affecting your school. It's affecting these other areas because that's a big thing when you're young. Your body's changing and all that, and it change your brain chemistry. And so if you don't talk about that and that area is not talked about, and you're just like repressing, like suppressing these thoughts and feelings, like it can affect other areas. So I want my boys to be healthy in as many areas of life as possible.
Right.
And so this could affect it.
And that's interesting too, because like you think about how, well, I'll hide it and I'll figure it out. I'll hide it and I'll figure it out. And then I remember growing up, I never had the conversation with my parents about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And there was like conversations held at school. And it's such an interesting, place to have it. Like you're sitting there with your buddy, and you're just like, oh, they just said this word.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
National
hilarious.
Geographic in the library, bro.
Oh,
It was
sure.
available.
Sure.
Nat Geo and those tribes from around the globe. I'm just saying. I was in grade school with my buddies, and we're like,
Yeah.
look at this. And
Or just an anatomy book. You're just like, what? Like, so like there are a lot. And so, because we have like parents listening, obviously. So like little tips and tricks on when to have, whether it's a conversation about, because with us, we have two girls. Our oldest, it's so funny when you watch her and her girl cousins get around each other. They play house or they play family or whatever.
They put like balls in their
balls
shirt
in their
to be
to be pregnant.
Yeah.
And we haven't had to have that conversation of like how does a baby get into that, you know? And so, but there will come a day where they start connecting those dots and whatever. But there is something within them, like, as females, like I don't necessarily that was similar to you. When my daughter starts having questions, I'm like, "Hey, actually, your mom is great
She's
with
right
this."
down
And
there.
I'm already, we haven't had that conversation yet,
Thankfully.
but I mean, I'm very open about, even with Jeremiah too, about birth and breastfeeding and periods. Like because I don't want it to be, and that might be harder in your households because you have all boys, but like, I feel like with, it just kind of happened naturally because Scarlett was our firstborn, and she, is around me all the time, and I share, she's seen, and she was kind of just along the process too. Like she's seen me be pregnant. She's asking questions.
But she's also fascinated with it.
Very,
though.
very
It's not like
fascinated.
she's like Justine's forcing it on her. She's asking questions.
And so I'm just very open when it comes to all of that stuff because my son's also going to get married one day.
Yeah.
And his wife, he's going to witness his wife's body change.
Yeah.
And, so I try to talk about all of those things, but we have not dived into how that baby gets in the belly.
Yeah.
So we're not there yet. And she's honestly not really showing any like hints even to we're there yet. That's why I kind of was asking.
This is why I'm asking you. So like we've had certain conversations, and she said it the other day. I'm not going to mention the boy's name, so don't mention the boy's name. But she made a comment like, "Oh, this person, I love him. I don't love him.
Yeah.
I just love him." And so it's like, noted. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And then she'll make a couple of comments about how certain men, that man is handsome. Dad, you're handsome too. And it's like, okay, so now there's two different handsomes.
Yeah.
And these little things that are starting to change.
I mean, I say some dudes are handsome. That's a handsome dude. I'm going to give credit where it's due, right? So that's like the casual, I'm not interested. You're a handsome guy.
Sure.
Because I ain't interested. You're a handsome dude.
Right.
Right?
She's starting to, and it's just like, oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have a question too for the both of you, because you'd mentioned how you kind of like talked about it. It sounded like one of you mentioned that you talked about it prior And then you said you purchased books,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so maybe there are parents listening that are like, well, we just kind of wanted to avoid it until like they kind of like saw it themselves. How would you go about talking to your kid? I mean, we're talking like bullying. If you saw like one of your sons, like, dude, you're a freaking bully. Like, dude, stop.
Oh, we addressed
You
that
know,
already. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so then how do you guys do that? How do you address, yes, something like, a sex conversation, or if it's like, you need to treat your brother better. Hey, you didn't know I overheard you when you were playing your video game, dude. Like, we don't use language like that. Like, how do you guys, how would you, give advice or tips or tricks on what you've maybe learned through
Yeah.
trial and error? What would you guys say?
I would say the more that I've been praying about it, and I was talking to Just Dan about this, is that one, it's a heart issue. Like sin always comes because of the heart. And so I've been just praying about how to tackle, that when my boys rebel, if they're like lying or they're saying something, that's a heart issue. It's because they have like anger, they have bitterness, they have jealousy, like there's something. And so I've been trying to go that route, like, well, why did you say that? Or like, why are you upset at him? And what made you, what made you not fill this paper out? And so I'm trying to get down to the heart issue. And then we do a good job, I feel like, of talking about a consequence, because they need to know that there's just consequences in life. And if we
Mhm.
don't teach them when they're young, they're going to find out later in life that whether it's a job or whatever, just there's always a consequence to their actions. So I feel like we tackle about, what's an appropriate consequence. But I think I always go back to like, okay, let me pray about this. This is a heart issue.
Mhm.
I think Mike is good at right then and there if something needs to like happen.
Mhm.
Mike's really good about like swooping in a good way of like checking them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
How do you
that's
how do you how do you do that? How do you check them?
Well,
Just a
keeping it
slap
real.
across the face
Yeah, right.
thing.
I know. Swoop. Just yeah. I mean, interjecting. That is when I'll give my opinion right away, as I should. I'm parenting, right? It's not an opinion. It's guidance. Um, I do so more when it comes to the treatment of others, and I talk about that because I think that's like as the in the backdrop of life, like you're gonna have all these achievements, these successes and failures in life. But my big thing is personally, like when I'm dead and gone, career achievement and all that stuff, to me, legit, I'd pass a polygraph. It doesn't mean anything to me. I want people to say that was a good dude.
Mhm.
I enjoyed being around him. He shed some light on things in my life, or maybe I watched him and learned some things through watching. I definitely want to be known for my faith, right? Elise talked about it with our kids. We do pray about it a lot. Even the sex talk or bullying or any of these things. Like, what does the Bible say about it? Lord, what do you say about it to me as a parent? Because at the end of the day, they're not ours, our children, and we're stewarding, we're guiding. And so I pray about it a lot, but I'm very intentional. And when I say it's for the conversation piece because it's my perspective. I'm not like I am special, but I'm very intentional with the boys. I've mentioned it a few times because I take parenting and I take marriage very serious because they are very serious. And while they're fun, right? At least talked about it earlier. There's a work component to it, which means your attention is you're attending to this area and you're being intentional. So I'm always looking at how is what they say and do right now, these things affecting them, their peers, their siblings, all these other things. Back to my earlier point, um, like when you're remembered, I want them to be known as good people.
Mm.
And so I'm very sensitive how they treat people.
Mhm.
I get on them about their TA, man, work harder at baseball. But if you really want to trigger dad, it's how you treat people because those are non-negotiables. Like if you end up having this career, maybe you fall short or you deviate from what your plans were, that's fine. That'll come. But your choice of how you react to someone, how you treat someone, you better. I'm 10 out of 10. I'm pushing for excellence there because that's really what matters. You can impact someone's faith that way. You can talk to someone who's a non-believer and maybe you're not being a light like you're called to be in that situation, and your lack of boldness in that situation didn't draw them to the Lord. It didn't represent your faith to where something was birthed in their mind and they were drawn to the Lord. And I take those opportunities seriously. So when it comes to how they treat other people, I interject. So
Yeah.
I guess that's more when I comment or when I interject, more so than how. I mean, how can, it's just given the situation. Sometimes it's literally go to timeout. It's maybe, all right, I'm going to get the spanking spoon for Joaquin because he's 2. With Jonah, he looks for my what do they call it? Like your male.
He
You look
looks for your approval.
approval.
Yeah.
So if with him especially, I'm very quick to disclose when I'm not happy with what he's chosen to do. So then he can learn not so much like my love is conditional, but what upsets Dad. These are good things for them to know because I'm here to guide you and
Yeah.
help you best I can. I know.
One thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say one thing I've started doing too is just like the pray without ceasing. Like I've been taking it seriously because it does feel sometimes like a burden that we're raising disciples and that you're working yourself out of a job. That's what we're doing as parents. And so sometimes I'll just stop because I want them to, no matter what, when they're married and they have their own kids, I want them to like, first thing you do is you run to God. First thing you do, run to God. So when I'm feeling overwhelmed or frustrated, because obviously we have 4 boys and there's a lot going on. And so when something happens, I just will say, let me pray because I'm like so angry right now or I'm so overwhelmed. So let's pray really quick. Or so I told Jack that the other day because he got in trouble. I was like, let me pray. So I'm like, God, forgive us. Show me as a parent how to correct his behavior. Give me the right tool, and he prayed with me to show that like I don't have it all figured out, but I'm always going to go to the one who does.
Yeah.
And I want them to follow suit. Like if they obviously that whole like you more is caught than taught. So if my prayer is that they see me like running back to God every single time, whether I'm in a joyful mood or if I'm in an overwhelmed mood, like whatever it is, that I'm running back to God.
Yeah.
When did
I
you
love
start
that.
doing that?
I actually just started recently doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. I have just probably the last few months just realizing, the kids are getting older. I think we just got really busy. And so I just, in my prayer time, I felt like, okay, we need go back to the basics. Like,
Well,
because
'cause
we'll get sorry.
no.
Go.
Well, the reason I ask is I think we've done this where it's like you learn something. Your firstborn's always like your trial kid.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we've learned things since having our oldest that we're starting to implement with our secondborn.
Yeah.
And we'll learn things with those 2 that will be brand new for our youngest.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you're always growing. And so, I know that we've probably got parents that are listening that are like, we don't go to church regularly. We're going to start going to church regularly. And then our kids are going to start fighting us because we're waking up early and going to church, or maybe we'll start praying.
And
You what?
that's when I say and.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, because even with that,
Hey,
like,
get up, Grumpy. We're going.
How have your kids responded to that? They're like, oh gosh, Mom.
With ministry.
Well, just with this new
Praying.
the praying.
Praying.
Like, oh, here goes Mom again.
They're fine because that's something we do at like that's just something we
always pray as a
yeah
family
that's like second
before
nature.
bed.
I feel like in our house, like you get up and go to school, like that's not new. And so and I've even brought it down to Joaquin's age where instead of we used to give him a little ice pack every time he hurts himself, and so I've even tried to make the conscious decision of not grabbing that first, but to pray first, even as him being 2. So he'll say like ice pack. I'm like, no, remember we got to pray first. So let's pray that Jesus heals you and protects you. Okay. And now we go get the ice pack. So whether it's Jonah, when he messed up on a test or he did something, I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, let's pray about it to like down to Joaquin. So, I don't think they think anything of it because we're constantly doing it. I'm doing it on the way to school. We're doing it at nighttime. We're doing it at dinner time. We're doing it if we can fit in a family devotion. Like
Yeah.
we're constantly doing it. And that's what I want them to grow up, doing and knowing is, because obviously their faith is going to be their own. It's not going to be mine.
You're right. And that is, I mean, because you guys have 4 kids. So
Yeah.
like that idea of trying to put something new into your daily routine, it's not so much that, you want your kid to accept it right out the gate. It's just the consistency of it. Because
Yeah.
so often, I mean, there are things that we're trying to do that we heard a message on Sunday and we were like, we're on the drive home. This is how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to implement it. And then last night should have been, we should have been implementing it and we weren't, it's just because it's brand new, but we're like, no, we're going to stay consistent with it. We're going to try to, stay consistent with it. Because like how you said, like there's some things that are just non-negotiable, and that is so important. It can't be this thing that, well, we will only do it if it's convenient. We'll only do it if it's comfortable, because I think even too, and we agree like with what you guys are saying, like we're stewarding these kids. It's such a unique thought to think they're not ours, because at the end of the day, they're not really, however, yes, they are. Looks just like me, acts just like me,
Yeah.
And so just the reality that like at the end of the day, this is going to be one of the things we stand before God and we go, this is what I did with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
there's areas, like you said, finances. I always joke like, because I didn't grow up, with stock market parents.
Yeah.
But they worked hard. And so like, your view of that stuff kind of evolves over time. And I don't know, I was going somewhere with that one. I got excited, but I went too far
Yeah.
back trying to bring my parents into it. I was
What's
trying to add
happening?
some depth to this, but
I do like
Yeah.
you both have brought up how your parents have taught you hard work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys feel this way. Uncle Mike, I know you're a little bit older, so
Oh,
you've had
wow.
some life
Are you?
Hey, did you see
experience.
that? The shoulder shrug. Just older.
Quite
Like,
a bit
I'm-
older.
Hey,
Um,
older is a good. It's an
Yeah.
asset.
But I feel like
It's a
we're
liability.
losing that in this generation.
The work ethic.
The work ethic and the hard work, and not that like that's obviously a blanket statement, that's not for everyone, but I think a lot of it has to do with social media too. You see the highlights of people's lives and that's what you want, or a lot of people wanting to slow down, which are all really good things, but we talked about this at lunch the other day.
Yeah.
That like him and I have just accepted like we are in a time of like putting in the work, like putting in the work in your marriage, putting in the work with raising kids, putting in the work with our jobs, so that in the future we're setting ourselves up for the future. And
Yeah.
that's going to require hard work. We're not going to be able to just sit back and it happens,
Yeah.
And so we've just kind of accepted like this is just where we're at. Do I want to live here until I'm 85?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to always grind like this, but I feel like how you guys have both mentioned it, like that you got that from your families. Are you teaching that to your boys too?
Yeah, and I would say too, I think I think as a society we have like a woe is me, and I think I can get like that too, woe is me, but it's like it's only when we're selfish, like when our like sinful nature to be like all about me. Well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. When we get ourselves off the picture and we're like thinking about bringing our kids like to the temple, or when we're thinking about we're sending out our kids to be disciples or to be missionaries, like none of this matters, because ultimately they're going to stand before God, and like we're working so we can give them food so they can have the resources to go out and spread the gospel. Like I don't know, when we take ourselves out of it, then it feels that I don't feel like the woe is me. I feel like, yeah, let's do some hard work.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe, as a society, we don't want to do the hard work, and we want it because we make it things all
We
about
want
us.
like the instant.
We want instant, yeah, we
gratification.
want to be happy, and we want, but like the Bible doesn't call us to be happy, and it's, we can have a joy knowing that our kids can be in heaven with us,
Yeah.
and so, but as far as like the hard work, I think I always say what we go back to the Bible. Go back to the Bible. What does the Bible say?
If you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah, so that's what
And I
that's what we
love some
say.
food. I love pizza.
If you don't work,
Ooh,
what does the
yes.
Bible say? If you don't work, you don't eat. So
Yeah.
it's like that's just
Yeah.
Then I'm the hardest worker in the house because I be eating. You can see it. It's fine.
No,
I feel
no,
like-
you've been doing great. You when we went to Moo Creamery and you were telling us about your little diet or whatever. You
I
lost,
was
like-
on it. I was on it. Yeah, I stepped back for the fall
little
and
bit,
school,
Couldn't tell.
school
Couldn't
got
tell.
busy. Yeah.
Couldn't tell, buddy. You look great.
Yeah, thanks. See, you can give that your handsome talk. See, it comes full circle. Thanks. No, yeah,
I lost my train of thought.
it was about hard work.
hard work. Well, they got.
But
I
it
don't know.
always
We-
reminds me of that Kim Kardashian when she's like, nobody works anymore.
Yeah, I remember that was like going viral, and people were like,
You're
"This
like
is the
a
one thing
billionaire.
I've agreed with that she's said or something."
Yeah,
like
but then
that.
people are like mad because they're like, she's a billionaire. But like, yeah, she probably worked to be
Yeah.
a billionaire.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, but we say this on the podcast a lot too, that we always remind ourselves that we are raising kids to be like functioning members of society
Yeah.
too. And I feel like so often I want to give my kids a comfortable life. Like I want them to look back on their childhood and it's happy, but even what you said, you were like 99% of life is hard work, and you do learn that. Like we've had so many conversations like, gosh, like why are we still dealing with this, or you know what I mean? And you just learn that you're constantly going to go from one season to the next, and there's going to be even in parenting, like newborn stage is hard, but there's also a lot of joys in that newborn stage. And then you go to the toddler stage and it's a new hard, but there's a lot of really fun things in that stage. And, all throughout parenting, and I feel like life is kind of the same way, where like, you have these hard seasons and then you get to a new season and it's great and you're over and done with that, but there's a new hard,
Yeah.
And so I just think we're always going back to, we're raising kids. And we had a sermon last week, that the same one he was talking about, and it was about laziness. And one of the things that he talked about was one of the like causes of laziness can be pride. And I've never thought about it before, but it almost going back to what you said, like, woe is me. And I will find myself being that way sometimes, where I'll be like, I work really hard. I should be able to veg on the couch all day.
Yeah.
Or, you like give yourself these excuses like, well, I do this, so I deserve this, and it's
Yeah.
like, and then that you get trapped in this like lazy cycle almost, because you're like, I deserve this
Yeah.
or whatever. But I had a friend too that I recently had a conversation with, and she's the youngest of her family, and she said, and I told her, I was like, thank you so much for sharing this with me, because it really helps me as someone who like struggles with like how much do we put on the kids to like add, and she basically said that she wasn't like required to do a lot in her home. Like a lot was done for her. And she said as an adult, it's been really hard for her. Now that
man.
I knew Mike was going to look at me.
Well, you looked at me first. I saw your head
Yeah.
turn.
But
You're
she
the one
said the
that
responsibility of like now being a wife and a mom
Yeah.
and like learning like, to upkeep a home and things like that.
Yeah.
Like it's been a challenge for her, and it's not coming from a place of like she just didn't like technically wasn't taught these things.
Yeah.
And so, and I was like, thank you so much for sharing that. And ever since she has shared that with me, I go back to that. Like when
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to make the kids clean their room. I'm like, they're going to have to clean a house one day.
Yeah.
Like they're going to have to sit down and do work one day. So we got to do your homework, Scarlett. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these little things, I'm like, it's just, it goes back to the
Yeah.
functioning members of society.
I got to know why you looked at each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So that was like
Well-
a hard part in the first part of our marriage.
I mean, there's still residue.
No.
My
So, I
parents
mean,
did
and-
a lot
And
for
it's
me.
not a
He
bad
said
for
it's
you.
not a
Yeah.
bad thing per
But
se.
where
but-
are you in the lineup of kids?
She's got to be the baby.
No, I'm not.
Oh, no, you're
But I'm
not.
the only girl, and I'm the oldest.
Okay.
But my parents, yeah, they did a lot for us. Like my mom would have like the food ready, make us snacks, have our breakfast ready, and
Wake up in the morning.
Mike
It's
got
all
pulled out of
get your jammies and like
yeah,
sit down with their TV trays and eat their cereal before
yeah.
school.
And Mike got pulled out
And
of school by his dad one time because he didn't do his chores. So
yeah.
we like grew up totally different. So
Well,
he,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's
Chicago.
about that business. You wake up.
Chicago, yeah.
Chicago.
And he's
Listen.
like this dark black guy with like dreads. Like, yeah.
That was his
yeah.
phase. Yeah, he didn't have
Yeah.
dreads when I was a kid. He actually had a curl, a Jerry curl. So the you know the
Oh, yeah.
commercial.
The 80s.
I remember
Oh,
it used
yeah.
to like if he were on this couch laying here.
Greasy.
Yep, get up. Like, dang man, he got my couch. I think that's where a lot of the plastic came from, especially in the black houses. My grandma's house, everything was covered in plastic. It's like, man, you stick to that stuff in the summertime. You get hot, you'd think you'd slide. No, that plastic had pores or something because your
Grabbed
sweat
you.
would go into the pores and you just stick to, just trying to slip around.
Yeah.
But
so
anyways, yeah. So no, so as far as with Elise, we come from different. So my mom's Polish and English and German. So immigrants at some point, right, coming over, especially on the Polish side. Their last name is Petrowski.
Oh, whoa.
Petrowski. So at any rate, my mom would work all day. She'd come home, bang out dinner, do all this, clean the house. Like she doesn't mess around. And yeah, and so so when we met, I'm used to seeing that. So it's not a hard issue. So we joke about it because we're in like a safe, comfortable place
Yeah.
in our marriage where, yeah, she's real. She kept it real though. She didn't try to fake like, hey, I'm this great cook and I know how to clean, and
No.
not that
I
those
was
things
like, this
are
is what you get.
yeah only to her. But
Yeah.
I can cook just from working in restaurants so much. And then the cleaning part, again, you work in commercial spaces like that, you learn how to clean top notch because the health department and all that. So I can cook pretty good and I can clean really good to where you're not seeing streaks. You clean,
Yeah.
professional cleaning. So my mom was like that. I'm used to seeing that. So Elise was like, she'll wipe down the counters. I'm like, bless her heart, she clean. But then you
Yeah.
look and it's like she's just smeared all the soap around. And I'm like, who
Yeah, like it's
taught
clean.
you how to clean a
Right.
counter? I'm like, turn your head. She's like, oh, I do see all that. I'm like, yeah, it looks clean. But anyway, so there's little stuff like that. But my thing is no different than with the boys and their character. I know she has a good heart. And I know she will do anything that she can do. So there's a difference between laziness and selfishness to where your spouse won't do certain things versus that being an
Yeah.
area that maybe they never excelled in.
Yeah,
And that's fine. So I'm cool with it. So she'll get annoyed sometimes when I do like suggest things that I know. But again, I'm Uncle Mike, so I'm giving advice. But
Always.
also, like, I learned this from people, in professional industries. Hey, this is how you index a window. And I learned from one of my buddy's grandmas how to make a bed, like a hotel. So she taught me when I was at their house, staying over as a guest, this is how you tuck your corners. And I make my beds because this old Southern grandma from Mississippi taught me how to make a bed. And that bed is tight.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good bed right there, man.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you're on that bed making game. So anyways, so we share stuff like that, but we know I'm not picking on her. It'll be advice, and then I have to back off sometimes. And then on her side, I know the heart's there. It's just, that's not where she was, a lot was done. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like you want to give a comfortable life, and we balance that best we can to where they're learning and taking those bumps and bruises, but you're also making it a safe space and a space where if a worldly someone who experiences like growing up with worldly parents versus some who are believers, it's just a different experience. Like your home should be warm and loving, and like the hand of the Lord is upon you guys, and that's what it should be like. Not perfect, but there should be something different to where when I go in this house, this is different than when I go in this house, and those things, and it's not us.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's, so.
And I think that's the thing too with marriage that I don't know if a lot of people really understand is that you're learning each other. And, just that idea that like it's okay, there's a lot of things her and I have gone back and forth on. We kind of like learned how to argue over the years. And thankfully we had marriage retreats to go to kind of hear from other people like, hey, when you argue, like, don't say this, don't say that. I'm not sure if we ever would have said those things, but
Yeah.
still, when you hear like, this is why you don't say this is why you don't act like that or whatever, and you just kind of like put those in, and then you got to try them out. You figure out how to argue, or you figure out what her strength is, what my strength is, but also their weakness, instead of holding it over them, be like, fix this or whatever.
Yeah.
We still have our things.
Yeah.
There's certain things where
But I
I
do-
hear that I always do this or I always do that.
That's one of the things we argue about. That I
can't say
always.
always.
You
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
be
you can't
careful.
say
Yeah,
That's
yep.
that's our rule. We actually do not ever say always.
Well,
Or
yeah,
never.
because
Always or
you
never.
set me back on that timeline.
Yeah.
It's almost like a video game when you die and you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So if I've been progressing in an area and that one moment maybe I slip, right? You're looking at the ebbs and flows of like behavior, and I slip, and it's like always. It's like, no, you just applied always, which defeats all the good I've
Yeah.
done to progress. So we've watched that, because early on, I was like, you always do it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I go back, I'm like, man, like I've been,
So we
forget
don't-
it. Because
yeah.
then you, oftentimes, if the person's that type I am, I'll just go back. I'm like, well, you already put me back there. I'll just go back and I'll stay there then. Because obviously what I'm doing's not working. So if I always do that despite this, then I'll just always do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So now you got always.
Yeah,
Here you
yeah.
go. Here's Mr. Always.
So that's our rule,
Uncle
is that
always.
we don't say always, we don't say never, and obviously the D word is never part of our vocabulary. It's
So
just-
can you explain what the D word is?
Yeah, divorce.
Divorce.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
There's
just
a couple
Yeah,
options.
yeah, that's
there.
true. Yeah. So yeah, we don't. That's when we are going back and forth. That's just a rule that we put in place. Like after a few years, we're like, okay, we don't say always, and we don't say never, and then divorce is just off the table. Yeah.
And unfortunately, you have to, not that you guys ever said this or even we ever said this, but unfortunately, you have to have that argument where you did use always,
Yeah.
where you did say
Yeah.
whatever it was. And then you just go, oh, shoot, I didn't like the way that made me feel. I don't like the way that made you feel.
Yeah.
My goal was not for it to go this way. I was passionate. You were passionate. It's just this thing where but unfortunately, you had to get there.
Yeah.
But I do like too that you said the heart, because that's the in our marriage there's been certain things, whether it is like the cleaning or he didn't do something exactly how I wanted it. I had to like remind myself like, but his heart was good. He was trying, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of like softens you a little bit. Like
Yeah,
you want to
for
be
sure.
like mad about something, and then you're like, you know him though, and he means well, and he's trying his best here, But yeah, just I feel like those little reminders help you to kind of,
Yeah. And I feel like the Lord has shown me about how my role is to also be an encourager, because the boys already have enough people, whether it's in school or sports, to critique them.
Oh,
And so I was reading a Bible verse about encouraging, and I feel like the Lord was like, you're actually supposed to be an encourager, like a cheerleader for your husband and your kids. And I think we're constantly trying to correct their behavior that I think I lack the encouragement part
Yeah.
sometimes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so when you are thinking of this, how early or late into, I guess, like having 4 kids and a husband did you learn this? Or is it
About
something recent?
encouraging?
Yeah, is this something recent? Did something happen?
Yeah. Okay, you've asked that question about like the timing, and this is the thing. I think we go in like seasons because we're getting busy at work or whatever, and then when I feel like the Lord is
just getting
slowing us
busy.
down, yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I have to put the brakes on everything, and I have to get in prayer, I have to get my word. Then the Lord reminds me of when I'm actually in my word, I can see what's important. What am I lacking on? And
Yeah.
so I don't know if I have like an actual, okay, like 1 year ago, this is what I started.
Yeah.
I think it's just, which I feel like that's how we disciple our kids. We don't have like a structure. This is the time we do devotion. We're going to sit down and have a sex talk. There's that scripture about like going throughout the day, talking about the Lord with your kids. And so we are discipling as we're at the park. We're discipling when we're in the car. We're discipling, just, when Mike's playing video games with them. Or so I don't know if there's an actual time frame, but I think we're just constantly learning. And then when I have that quiet time, I feel like, which that's why it's important, because then the Lord reminds me, okay, you've been critiquing more than you have been encouraging, and your role is actually to be an encourager and a cheerleader, because I should be my husband's biggest
Yeah.
cheerleader. I should be my kid's biggest encourager, because the world isn't going to do it.
Yeah.
If we know the devil's out to destroy them, we know that's a real thing, then who's going to be in their corner?
Yeah.
Who's going to be praying for them and encouraging them? Then
Yeah.
that should be mom and dad.
Yeah. And that's so good too. And I think like that would be just a good reminder for a lot of people. Like you as a parent, even though your kids think that you have it all figured out, you're still learning,
Yeah.
and you even mentioned earlier that your mom and dad kind of brought you guys in on a lot more than you think that they should have
Yeah.
in hindsight. But at the end of the day, like, it is kind of okay for you as a parent to be like, hey, we don't have it all figured out, but we'll figure it out together. Like
Yeah.
how you were given the example of like, we go to God first,
Mhm.
because mom and dad don't have the answers. But we know where to get the
Yeah.
answers,
Yeah.
and just kind of giving them that example, I think is crucial. Because again, there's so many people. I mean, I'm learning stuff as you guys are talking, and I think there's plenty of people that are learning just from your guys' example, and I think it's encouraging to know that it is something as a parent, as a spouse, that you're constantly learning because you want to be better. Like how you started out, you're just like, I want to give the best for my wife. I want to give that. I want to give that. And every man should grow to be like that. Every man should. And I'm sure you would admit you're still growing in that and will
Yeah.
be better by the time you die.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a maturation process. I think that, it's funny because the boys.
Maturation?
Yeah.
Is that like mature?
Yeah.
That's
I've
the-
never heard that
that's
one.
a
Is
very-
that a real word?
Yeah,
Someone Google.
I like that you said
Maturation?
that. I mean,
Uh-oh.
I've
We're
heard-
going somewhere. Pew, 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 pew.
I've
Another
heard-
one.
I've
gonna
just
I
shift.
could do that every time.
another one.
Another one.
Okay, so it's a
Oh,
it's
it's a maturation.
well, now that you say that, I don't even know how to say that word.
Maturation.
It's a maturing thing.
Yeah.
okay?
Maturation's a word, right?
I don't know.
I
In
don't know.
Chicago,
I'll check
I'm
it.
almost
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Maturation, yeah. The
Okay.
process of maturing, right?
yeah,
Really?
right.
Sorry.
I think we're
That's
chat-
probably what look at Webster's dictionary. See, one day you'll have
I'll use
someone
that in
you look off
Scrabble.
camera and you say, look it up.
Yeah, hey,
Well, no,
Jamie.
that's when you're on different levels.
I can't even say it.
Maturation.
It's a word. It refers to the process of maturing or becoming fully
Yeah.
developed.
like saturation.
Uncle Mike, pew, pew, pew.
Another
Got a
one.
dictionary up here. That's the other D word, dictionary.
You don't
We're
use
always-
that.
Stop with the D words.
Okay.
You guys-
Dictionary. Anyway, so the maturation process. Yeah, so we've talked about that because the boys, I have this thing, and she makes fun of me or is angry. I'll buy a video game system because I want to play video games, and to me, I kind of envy it, but I don't. But I'm like, man, I want to play Call of Duty. It sounds so cool, and I'm kind of like a tech guy, so the surround sound and I'll go on there for 3 minutes. I die a couple times. I'm over it. Like I don't have the patience for it. But the boys want me to, play games. I'm like, guys. Okay, let's talk about this. I got baseboards in this bathroom. Got the shelf in the in the garage. I go through a list of things I can do. Do you think I should be playing video games or taking care of my home and you guys? And they answer. So that's another thing too, though. I let them answer for me. I'm gonna lay that scenario out. Y'all tell me what I should do right now as your father and as her husband. You tell me.
Yeah.
It's Saturday. Dad, go play video games, or there's this other stuff to do, right?
Yeah.
You always put your desires on the back burner. I'm not saying burn yourself out because you've got to take care of yourself, but I'll lean on the aggressive side. No, more often than not, every time. Everybody before you. Part of that for men is doing stuff around the house or just different things. I'm like, I don't got time for video games. So I'm not calling guys out who do it. This is kind of a thing that we talk about. She has said, I'm glad you're not someone that's, dedicated to video games and plays a lot of video games.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
know
okay,
people that
yeah.
do. So I try
Yeah.
to walk that cautiously because now it is a career where grandma used to say, you're not going to amount to nothing. It's like, no, I
Yeah.
stream and I made 7 figures last year
Yes.
doing that.
Right.
So it's not the actual playing of the games. It's like, what else? What is this replacing, right? So if your
Right.
time and attention is on trivial things, you're going to get trivial results in your household. So anyway,
Right.
so
Yeah.
back to the boys and things like that. It's a maturation
Love it.
process.
Love it.
And I
But,
do
and I'm
feel-
still maturing, you know, at
Yeah.
45,
It's funny you bring that up, maturation, because what I was thinking was for those listening, like it's never too late to start
Absolutely.
implementing these
Yeah.
things. I think
Yep.
that sometimes we can get down on ourselves, like, well, especially as parents, like, well, I've already responded this way, or, you know, you can get like, I don't know if I'm doing it, but you can always start maturing, you
Mhm.
know, and changing certain things to be better for your kids and for your family and your marriage.
Yeah.
I tell people when it comes to stuff like that, I would say give Satan a black eye today, because what's the first thing he's going to do? Oh, well, you're too old to do this. He's going to give you all the areas. He's going to try to disqualify you because he knows maturing's a good thing. The Bible talks about levels of maturation. There's a word, right? It talks about you're still on milk and you need to be on solids, or, you know, I don't want to butcher the verse, but the Bible talks about that and it calls you to mature, right? And so, of course, the devil is going to say, you're too late, you're too this, you're too that. So when it comes to processes like that, or if people, because I get it, people come from different backgrounds and maybe their marriage didn't start off great and they didn't see good examples of it, but it's never too late. And that statement applies to everywhere in life. Talk about Uncle Mike. This is what I talk to the boys about. I'll say it, and I have said it before. Let's give the devil a black eye today. Give Satan a black eye. What do you mean, Dad? When you're at school today, I've given them scenarios. The person that's the meanest to you today, find a way to love them anyways. Pick up their pencil off the ground, like flip it. Give the devil a black eye, because he doesn't want you to do that good thing, because that good thing is going to birth in a handful of other things, right? And he doesn't want that. So anyways, so I'm going off on one of my Uncle Mike tangents, but it's
love
never too late. And that statement applies to so many areas of your life, but give the devil a black eye today. Whoever's listening, and he's telling you it's too late for something. If it's biblically sound, it ain't too late.
Yeah.
And all
Do
the
it.
enemy has
Let's
to
go.
do is put a thought of doubt.
Yep.
That's literally all that he has to do. Like, you've always brought that to my attention, that sometimes the devil doesn't like do this thing that's super noticeable to like take you off track. It's like he puts that thought of doubt into your head. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. And so you go a different way. And, you know, I don't know why this example just came to my head. I love true crime. So, you know, podcast, all the things, shows, Tom doesn't. But when you go to court, what is it? All you have to show is like the defense lawyer is reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have all this evidence.
Yeah.
And just
But if
one,
you find reasonable doubt, that person can literally get off, you know?
That's
And
what
so
we'll
that
do
shows
naturally, I think, as humans. Like, we're always going to look. So I think we do that. Like, we're always looking for the bad. We're always looking for like the doubt.
Yeah.
We're always,
that's a
and we're gonna
fleshly
find
thing, though,
it.
because that ain't, you know, that's not the
Yeah.
biblical view is, you know, to just approach it with doubt and fear all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have like maybe
quick
this will be
fire questions.
Yeah.
They
let's
could
do
be quick fire.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Okay. My
My questions
it
are
should
done,
be a song.
Yeah,
I
I
have-
was.
well, I
you guys
have
are
quick
lucky because I was. You. Well,
It's a new
Hey,
song.
Uncle Mike
Say-
used the
no, it's a new
restroom.
song.
I
Okay.
have-
now I'm ready. I ain't seen
Okay,
her.
I
Let
have
Not
a,
me.
go.
I have a couple of quick fire.
Quick fire.
First one is, did you always plan on having 4 kids?
Or do we answer at the same time?
No, it's just.
okay.
I wanted 5.
No,
Really?
I
Okay.
wanted almost none.
No way.
two.
No,
That's not even in the
She
middle.
wanted 2.
I wanted 2.
Controllable,
there you go.
easy to predict.
So quickly, how
There you
did
go.
we get to 4 then?
Well, we all know that.
Yeah. Also, well, because I feel like if you're a believer, obviously if you're in your prayer, your priorities change. So I think again, it started to become less of like me being comfortable, what I want, and what I felt like the Lord was calling us to do, which Mike and I have like a pretty big conviction about raising godly men.
I say we're pumping 4 good dudes into the world.
Yeah.
That's how I say it.
Yeah.
Literally, pumping
So
4 good
we
dudes.
just felt
You
like
are. Your
called
boys are so
to.
We hope that's our goal.
Yeah.
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 We'll
So I
push
felt like we both just felt that calling.
Okay. And then you got to 3. What made you decide to go to 4?
Yeah.
Because
Maybe
an
it'll
age
be a
gap.
girl.
We wanted a girl.
Maybe.
That's the easy.
That's the
quick
5
fire.
years.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you wait? It was like, well, let's see again. No, dang it. Boy, again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you guys meet?
In Las Vegas, Nevada.
In Vegas
In Vegas.
at church.
Mm-hmm.
At church.
I went back.
Not
we had
the
a
club,
we had a
not the
we had a
club.
really good worship set in the morning service. So before my fantasy football draft that night, I was like, I'm gonna go get me some more worship, like a second bowl of cereal.
Wow.
It's that Pentecostal in me. I'll
Yeah.
worship like David. I can't wait to meet him. I'm like, I want to worship. Let's
Yeah.
just, anyways, that's a whole. So I went back to church that night for a second, helping to worship. It all got
Rewarded.
yeah.
You got
So
rewarded.
I saw her and I said, wow, that girl's pretty. And
Was she worshiping,
she's in
though?
church. Well,
I
ironically,
was like, I'm
all
here
right,
for the
so I
free
closed my-
food.
yeah, we met. So she came in the lobby, and I was like, huh. And then I watched. I was like, wait, she knows our friend, my roommate's girlfriend at the time. He and I were roommates, and then he was dating one of her friends. Anyways, she brought her as a guest. So she comes as a guest to my church. I see her. We actually end up sitting with them because he's dating her. She's on the other side. Long story short, we're the front row.
There it is.
And honestly, though, despite seeing her, I didn't care. I was like worshiping and, up front, and I only stayed for the worship part and then I bounced. But later I kind of researched how to track her down.
Was there ever a time where like your hands were up and you got a little too tired and you're like, wait a second, she's right over there? I'm like,
Ew.
No,
Oh,
man.
they
Hey,
can't,
listen,
yeah.
and I guess that's the tone, right? Our marriage was, and it wasn't always like that before meeting her. I have a whole separate. That's a whole podcast in itself, where my life was at, and when I walked away from how I was raised, and that whole thing. But anyway, so I'd come full circle out of that, partying and some of the other things that my lifestyle entailed, and I was worshiping, man. I don't care. It's me and the Lord. Like you fall in line with that, man, and I take that seriously because that's my first love.
did you notice that, Elise, when you were there? You were just kind of like,
She thought I was a dork.
Yeah.
You don't know.
a dork.
Mhm.
Can't say that
Her
I
word.
did.
Hey,
Yeah, but I think because he was just like to himself. Yeah. I don't know. So I did it. But
Nice.
Next question.
Yes.
What's your favorite club in Vegas? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Because that's what you did in
Excess.
Yeah,
Vegas,
yeah,
right?
he's a
You were a
bartender.
bouncer.
bouncer.
Bouncer?
He was a bartender.
Bartender.
Oh, a
Bartender.
bartender.
You thought I was a bouncer earlier. You said I'm handsome and in shape. You guys are giving me way too much credit. People are gonna look at this video and think, man, I listened to it. The visual ain't matching
it's
up.
not the same. What is not
that ain't the
Why
same
are
dude.
bouncer? Is there something
Bouncers
to that?
are like
Bouncers are big,
Oh.
big
Yeah,
Like
boys.
where you
They're-
say you can't get into this club. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike was out here making you drink.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
he was making sure
I
they had a
was
good
Tom
time on the
Cruise.
inside.
Yeah.
Tom cruising it up.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like every night.
Yeah, that's a
That's
whole different.
exhausting.
The
I
tips were
call it-
probably good though.
I
That's what
call
you're
it
there
6
for.
wide, 5 deep, right? So when you're looking at your bar, you got 6, 1 through 6 people wide, and about 5 deep when you're at the club. So you have about 30 people in like your mental queue, and you're watching all of them. So like while you're down here doing your thing, you're talking, you're being personable, you're accounting, right? Because you're handling money exchanges, and these bills aren't cheap.
Yeah.
But funniest story ever, just real quick. New Year's Eve, these guys come. They're trying to show off for these girls. They ordered a round of drinks. Little do they know, Vegas. I mean, there's a premium on New Year's. 4 people, shots and drinks. Anyways, their bill is like $400 or something. The guy was like, "What?" He
Holy
turns
cow.
to his buddies and he's looking. And anyways, that's a separate story for a separate time. But yeah,
That's
I was
wild.
busy with that, so you have to process a lot and still be nice. and-
$400 for a round of shots.
No, a
so
whole
it's,
night.
like
Oh.
No, that was one round. Like
One round?
Of shot.
let me
It was
think
drinks
about this.
too, right?
So a Grey Goose and Red Bull was on
here
New
we
Year's,
go.
and this is 2006. It was like
Mike has
26
so many
bucks, 28
bartending
bucks
stories.
for one drink,
That's
right?
wild.
So that's
Yeah.
and he, drinks and shots and energy drinks. Yeah, it adds up quick. But.
Yeah, quick.
This makes the coffee thing make sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You wanna
Yep.
make
Yeah.
something.
You guys got to get that espresso machine on camera. You should do a podcast about figuring it out. I mean, times reading
you have- or
instructions,
you
the
have, like,
machine's
this
talking to
espresso
you, you
machine
guys are
here.
going back
Yeah.
and forth. That was actually, I would watch that, like how kids watch Ryan and like these kids unbox.
I'll get a little GoPro.
Oh, you guys?
I'll get a
You
little
guys
GoPro.
unboxes that as adults.
Oh.
I was thinking my thought
That
was to
probably
do just like
exists.
dishes, like just like the day in the life of a parent.
Yeah.
As you're trying to do dishes, kid comes over asking you a question. You got to do this now. You got to flip it around.
I wouldn't watch the dishes.
because you're living it though.
Yeah, but the coffee. Yeah, I'd be like on that.
Yeah.
I'd eye. Like, what's next?
Yeah,
there's
What
a
kind of
feeling.
cream? What kind of syrup are they gonna put in there?
You feel it. You feel it in your hands, almost like a grandma that cooks. I don't measure for the most part when I cook. Hey, you get a feel for that.
I
for
thought
Yeah,
you
being
talked
it's
about
what
the
your heart
coffee
says.
syrup.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's what your heart says.
So I could feel a good coffee drink.
what?
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have any more questions for him?
Quick fire.
Quick fire.
Last one. What's your guys' favorite thing to do as a family? Like your like fun.
The whole family.
Yeah.
Probably our road trips. We do a
Yeah.
lot of quick road trip. The car rides, the things that are discussed.
Really?
Yeah. Which
Go to
yeah.
go to the gas station. Everyone gets to pick out like a snack. Yeah,
a
that's
sweet
fun.
and a savory.
we listen
You get
to
a sweet and a
like
savory.
yeah, and then we listen.
What's your
to,
go-to snack?
Oh, mine is the Gardettos.
Okay.
Mhm.
We're white.
And-
We're white. We don't know what that is.
Nope.
No, that's
it's a
actually
white-
that's
yeah.
a
No,
that's a
it's the thing
Caucasian
you used
snack.
to put on your fingers, right?
What?
No,
No?
What are you saying? Right
Told you.
it's definitely a
Right,
Caucasian
I think
snack.
I
No,
think it
a
was
Gardetto?
Well, and you said
Gardettos
you're
it-
white. What did you think I was going to say? Like chicharrones?
No, I thought
I
you were
know.
gonna say like I don't know, spicy
Mike
lemon
was
or
going to say
something.
watermelon. What are you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, that's not a snack.
I know. I went.
That's
You
like
know
a-
what I was thinking?
I went to.
I
You
was
can
thinking
anchor
of
a
those
meal
little,
around
like,
watermelon.
cones. But the those are the little dark,
Yeah, the
breaded.
dark- yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
The dark bread, I hated them as a kid. I love them now because as a kid they're bitter.
Yeah,
they're
they're so
Yeah.
they're hard.
That
to-
actually, I could slam some
and
of those
we
right
are
now.
a
Not a clue.
Twizzler family, not
Are
a red
you?
vine family.
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely
Interesting.
feel like we're better than others.
Yeah, yeah.
Eat
For you to
Twizzlers.
say it that way.
I
I
love
know.
a
No,
sour.
she had a little extra. We're a Twizzler.
We actually-
Twizzler
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I love Twizzlers.
I love a sour cream
Good
and
night.
onion Pringle. No.
Just
Wah,
quiet.
wah.
Just
Yeah,
quiet.
no.
Just
That's
the
like
sipping
saying your
noise.
favorite candy's Milk Duds. I mean, like you came
Okay,
from nowhere.
you wanna know
Sour
what's
cream
funny?
and
Oh
onion.
no.
You know what's funny? Scarlett got Milk Duds from his mom the other day. We went to a
Worst
movie, and
candy
I was
ever.
like, "You like Milk Duds?" The other day, I'm cleaning her room. Milk Duds underneath her pillow.
The box.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
the actual.
Oh, I
duds,
thought there
the
was-
box.
Yeah.
Oh, in the box, but it was still full. I'm like, "What? Were you snacking on this in the middle of the night?"
She told me she was trying to keep him away from her
She
brother.
was trying to
Yeah.
get her teeth out for the tooth fairy. You eat Milk Duds, you better be
Yeah,
for sure. You better be certain they're staying in there.
care.
Oh, do you?
Because-
Hey, I have quick fire for you
Huh.
guys.
Oh, you're gonna reverse it?
Reverse.
Well, now
yeah.
I'm scared to
Yeah.
answer because you all judged me over my Pringles.
Here we
Quick
go.
fire.
Yeah, no,
Beep,
I
beep, beep,
honestly
beep.
sour cream and onion Pringles not on anybody's top 10 snack.
Yeah, for sure. We're
I
gonna
actually
just
had
go
to
past
I had to
that.
think if they
Just
made
stand.
those. There's the
Ew.
barbecue, the cheddar, and then the plain.
Yeah.
No,
No one's gonna
they're
listen to this
so good.
podcast anymore because they heard the sour cream and onion crap. They're like,
I know you just
forget
tanked
this podcast.
You tanked this whole thing with that.
Really,
That was like
it's
one of the lamest snack. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Oh,
Just keep
wow,
going.
let's
Just
pile
keep
on.
What's
going.
your quick fire?
Okay, quick fire. Oh, I forgot it, you guys.
Well,
All she's thinking about is Pringles.
First
I
date.
know you messed me up.
I'll go. First date.
you go. You go on that one.
What was it? Where was it?
It
Where
has
was
to be quick fire, though.
Okay,
Quick.
we were gonna toilet paper somebody's house.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh,
That's what's up.
interesting.
we were. We
Yeah.
didn't end up doing it.
We didn't
though.
end up doing it because
You guys made out.
It was a
she
feeling.
wouldn't get
Yeah.
off of me.
Yeah.
Shut up. No, it was like a feel. Like we didn't say like this is a date. Like we were like
We were
we're
hanging
hanging
Wait,
out.
just together? You guys went by yourself to toilet paper?
Mm-hmm. We went and scoped out a house.
Like how did
Like, how old
We'll
are
who's
tell
you?
the
you the-
lookout person?
we'll
Because that just
tell
means
you-
We were
Yeah.
we were in 7th grade driving.
We'll tell you.
No. We were.
We'll tell you the details off air.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
Oh.
But where was our like? After
left the
that,
toilet paper
at
in the
what
back
point did we
seat,
hang
then
out
we had to
again?
go
After
get it.
that.
And
I
then
don't even
they
remember.
never left.
After that.
But yeah, we just kind of like hung out, drove around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
She
know.
looked-
little graffiti mixed
she
in.
looked-
And then
she
we
looked
just kept
too
hanging
good.
out from that point on.
She looked too
Yeah.
good to go toilet papering. She
Yeah.
she didn't have any intention to go toilet papering.
That girl didn't. That girl
Yeah.
didn't want to go toilet paper.
No, she didn't.
Jezebel.
She didn't want. Dang, I didn't. I wasn't
No, I was
going that
just- no?
far.
Oh,
I
okay.
just
I
said
thought we
she
were
didn't
just
want to go
joking.
toilet papering.
I
She
wasn't.
she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Day one.
Yeah.
What's your guys' movie treat? Favorite movie treat?
Like at the movie theater or
Like
at
a-
home
While you're
because it
watching-
changes.
Oh.
No, don't lie. You got a big purse.
Are you talking about like a treat to eat?
The snacks.
Big
Like,
What's-
yeah, you're
what are
gonna
you
watch a
snacking on at the
movie.
movie
You're like, oh, I
theater
gotta
or
have
at
this
home?
while I watch this movie.
Okay, if I'm going to the theater,
Like I said, you got a big purse, so
if I'm going to
they're two
the
in the
theater
same.
and I'm going to buy something at the concession stand, I love Reese's Pieces with the popcorn. Like eating them
Because they
together.
probably melt, huh? a
Or
little
I'll
bit.
go.
It's the combination. It's the
Judgers.
combination.
Yeah.
I don't like Twizzlers, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, this was fun.
We got.
I know.
We're gonna wrap it up.
What about you?
Mine's always popcorn. I used to mix peanut
Okay,
M&Ms.
favorite,
I used to mix peanut M&Ms, but they've changed the ingredients on peanut M&Ms. I'm convinced.
Him and the kids
Yeah.
actually
I
eat
am
popcorn
convinced.
all the time
Yeah.
here at the
Yeah.
house too. Like
Popcorn's
they're
an-
big popcorn people.
popcorn.
Who's your favorite food manufacturer for popcorn? Like what brand?
If I'm making it at home, it's obviously Orville Redenbacher. Obviously.
Okay.
That's
No,
good.
I know it's the
Judging him?
OG. Yeah.
The butter. The movie theater butter.
Okay, but
Doesn't
for
that
the Orville.
that messes up my stomach.
I like
that
kettle
movie theater.
corn.
I like kettle corn.
Yeah.
sweet popcorn's
too.
confusing.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well.
This is just the opinion segment of our episode today.
We clearly don't have the same taste buds.
So yeah.
Caucasian.
When we have outdoor movie night at the house, it's gonna be BYOS snacks. Bring your own snacks.
Just for us, though. He's going to have it for everybody else.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be.
It's like, everyone come in,
Y'all-
I got stuff,
y'all
not
can bring
you
your
guys.
own.
You guys bring your own snack.
Well, we almost had a gluten-free guest at Thanksgiving, and I was like, "Yeah, that's
Mike
on
was
them.
so
Good luck.
pissed.
You
Yeah.
figure it out, bro.
'Cause
Like,
they're like-
I'm not listing
yeah.
the ingredients. You think we're Chili's? We gotta put it.
Yeah, we're like,
Government
oh,
ain't
we're gonna-
mandating my house.
Whoa, what?
Calories? Good luck. Ingredients? I don't know. Taste? It's good, dog. Eat it.
I
Like,
would, you know what I would want to pull is how many minorities don't like, or I should say don't like people that have allergies, but I feel like a lot of
Nah,
minorities
man.
judge people that have allergies.
Yeah, eat it. Just eat it. I don't know. I think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like the blacks and Mexicans. Like,
I don't
They're
know. I'm
kinda
trying to
rude.
think. Like,
I feel
growing
like
up,
they're kind of rude to
No one
people
has
that have
allergies.
allergies.
I don't know anybody
need
on
to
my
change that.
black
That-
side of the family that,
that
has
has-
allergies. We're
yeah.
allergen free. So
Yeah, like that's like, yeah.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't
Right.
even sneeze.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on to the podcast. We do appreciate you taking the time.
It's 2 o'clock. All right,
The
this
riddles.
was fun.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys so
Yeah,
much.
we
We really
love
do
you guys.
appreciate
That
it.
was so
We
fun.
love you.
Another one.
Till next time.
Till next time.